welcome back to EntertainmentBuddha.com. Got another video review for you. This time around, it's Darksiders 2 by Vigil Games. Alright, so Darksiders 2 features War's brother Death, and it's not really a sequel. The story is actually taking place alongside War's tale in the first game. You're just kind of seeing it from the eyes of his brother Death. So Death's basically trying to figure out a way to save his brother War from being wrongly convicted of starting the apocalypse. So you can see Death has to deal with this gooey corruption stuff. Most of the story is told through CG scenes like this. It's kind of a mix of a motion comic feel and your traditional video game CGI scenes. But Death right here is talking to the main bad guy, who is Absalom, a former Nephilim. Darksiders 2 also progresses the story using these pretty gnarly looking motion comic scenes. Again, these are sprinkled throughout the game. This is just an example of one in particular. Alright, now as far as quests go in Darksiders 2, there's plenty of them. You're looking at 40 to 60 hours depending on if you do side quests, and they're usually given to you by characters like this. This guy just happens to be smoking a bong. Right, up next we're looking at the Darksiders 2 menu. It looks similar to most RPG action games. You got a skill tree, you've got your weapons, you got your map. This is all controlled through hitting the select button and then using your triggers. What's different in Darksiders 2 is that now you can actually customize the look of Death. So if I equip something new, be it a weapon or armor, it will reflect the change on my character. As you can see right there, I got a nice trendy looking scarf, and now I'll go back to my spiked shoulder setup. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the first hub world of Darksiders 2. There's 5 hub worlds total. 2 of them are huge. This is the first. You'll see glimpses of the second. The other ones have kind of left secret because there's some spoilers in them. But the game is much bigger than the original Darksiders. As you can see, it's very expansive. What I'm showing off here, I don't know if you can really tell, is just one issue I had with exploration in Darksiders 2 is Death moves slower than molasses. That's even when he's on his horse Despair, he's still slow. To me, I want him to be a little speedier, so these longer sections of going from point A to point B without using the fast travel would be a little more entertaining. So again, just to show you, each hub area has its own unique look. Now we're getting into a little bit of battle. So Darksiders 2 is made up of really 3 main gameplay concepts. There's fighting, which I'm doing right now. There's the parkour, and then there's puzzles. So as you can see, Death can fight on his horse, he can fight on his feet. His 2 main weapons are the sais, and he also has a one-handed weapon, which could be, or a two-handed weapon, which could be, you know, a hammer, a battle axe, you name it. There's all kinds of enemy types, large, small, they come in packs, just kind of giving you an idea of what you will face in Darksiders 2. For the most part, this is like a God of War type of game, just spam those buttons down, roll around, and you'll be good to go. So here, Death can even use these large robot things called constructs to fight on. They definitely beat the hell out of people. Finally, Death has various skills you can enact. You can see on the right side, you can assign these to X, Y, B, or A to really dole out the damage to foes like these packs of skeletons. And finally, you also have an assortment of bosses in Darksiders 2. This is, I'd call, a mini-boss, believe it or not. There are much larger ones. And you do all this fighting for loot. Very Diablo-esque, the loot in here. You can see, woo! Alright, next up, the second component, like I said, the gameplay is the parkour. Tons of parkour in Darksiders 2. It's kind of a departure from War's movement in Darksiders 1. The one bummer with all this parkour is sometimes the camera doesn't work out too well, as you can see here. Especially in time sections like this, things get very frustrating. Eventually you'll figure out the path to take. And sometimes it's not even you. It's really the camera's fault because it bounces all around and you can't see. It's not your lack of skill. So what we're looking at now is the last piece of the Darksiders 2 puzzle, and that is puzzles and dungeons. Just like Zelda, you gotta use bombs, switches, pressure plates, you name it, to advance to the next area. and eventually get the dungeon key, which we'll see here in a little bit. So the creators of this game obviously pay homage to the Zeldas, the God of Wars, and games that came before it. So once you get your key, you can advance, like I said, beat the boss, get an item, you name it. So when it's all said and done, I give Darksiders 2 a whopping 8 out of 10 Buddhas. It's definitely worth a play. Pick it up. It's been out for a couple weeks. And especially if you played the first one, you're going to want to play this one, even though it really doesn't tell a true sequel. So once again, big thumbs up for Darksiders 2 from entertainmentboo.com. As always, thanks for stopping by. We make you a better geek one post at a time.